History has preserved for us a letter written in the early 2nd century. It is written to an inquirer of the Christian faith, and its most famous passage gives a fascinating definition of what a Christian is. The document we are looking at today is an instructional letter written by an unknown author. While various suggestions have been made as to their identity, the author does not identify themselves at all. The letter is sometimes known as the letter of Mathetes, but the word Mathetes just means disciple or student, and the writer of this letter claims to have studied under the apostles themselves and to be a teacher of Christianity. The writer appears to be familiar with the letters of the Apostle Paul because there are several quotations of those letters in this one. However, the quotations are inexact, so they give us the impression that the writer was quoting them from memory, that they're that familiar, but that they don't necessarily have those documents next to them. The receiver of the letter is not a Christian, but he is familiar with the faith. He's seeing it grow, and he's trying to understand what's the difference between this and the paganism that he's familiar with. What's the difference between Christianity and Judaism? Because at this point in time, Christianity is still seen as another Jewish sect. The writer in the letter acknowledges that his original reader has seen Christians arrested and killed for the faith, and he has seen that happen and noticed that Christianity only grows more. This receiver of the letter is listed as the Most Honourable Diognetus, and we do not know exactly who this is. It has been suggested that Diognetus was some kind of political leader, because there are several men named Diognetus in positions of power in Christian-heavy pockets of the empire at this time. The exact Diognetus that read this original letter is unknown. Historians and theologians estimate that this letter was originally written in around the year AD 130. This is incredibly early in the Christian faith. The original apostles are not long dead at this point. Christianity is still seen as a splinter group from Judaism in the wider Roman world. There is more and more increasingly visible persecution of Christians. We're going to read a short excerpt from the most famous section of the letter. A disclaimer on the full text is that it is not a highly respected work in the early church. It is not seen as particularly important. While there are no outright heresies within it, there is the leaning towards later errors that would crop up in the church. The part we're reading today is very good. When we read the text of the early church in orthodoxy today, we take the good. We take that which is true, that which is consistent with the faith, and that which brings us to Christ. This text is not really a major part of church history. No church fathers quoted it, and it was almost forgotten entirely, and it would have disappeared from history were it not for a bit of an interesting accident. In the 15th century, an Italian cleric was traveling through Constantinople and went to buy himself food at the fish market. The fishmonger he approached was wrapping up the fish in papers, and the cleric realized that those pages were from an old codex. So he asked the fishmonger for them and saved the pile of papers. Taking them back and looking closely at them, he found that most of them were familiar writings to him from an old text, the works of St. Justin Martyr. But amongst the many pages of writings of St. Justin Martyr, there was this letter to Diognetus. From this point in the 15th century, the letter to Diognetus started being included in more and more collections of early church writings. Now, we're only going to take a look at the most famous section, which is commonly referred to as the manners of the Christians. In this section, the author is trying to give a definition for who these people are. He writes, "For the Christians are distinguished from other men, neither by country, nor language, nor the customs which they observe. For they neither inhabit cities of their own, nor employ a peculiar form of speech, nor lead a life which is marked out by any singularity. The course of conduct which they follow has not been devised by any speculation or deliberation of inquisitive men, nor do they, like some, proclaim themselves the advocates of any merely human doctrines. But, inhabiting Greek as well as barbarian cities, according to the lot of each of them has determined, and following the customs of the natives in respect to clothing, food, and the rest of their ordinary conduct, they display to us their wonderful and confessedly striking method of life. They dwell in their own countries, but simply as sojourners. As citizens they share in all things with others, and yet endure all things as if they were foreigners. Every foreign land is to them as their native country, and every land of their birth as a land of strangers. They marry as do all. They beget children, but they do not destroy their offspring. They have a common table, but not a common bed. They are in the flesh, but they do not live after the flesh. They pass their days on earth, but they are citizens of heaven. They obey the prescribed laws, and at the same time surpass the laws by their lives. They love all men, and are persecuted by all. They are unknown and condemned. They are put to death and restored to life. They are poor, yet make many rich. They are in lack of all things, and yet abound in all. They are dishonored, and yet in their very dishonor are glorified. They are evil spoken of, and yet are justified. They are reviled, and bless. They are insulted, and repay the insult with honor. They do good, yet are punished as evildoers. When punished, they rejoice as if quickened into life. They are assailed by the Jews as foreigners, and are persecuted by the Greeks. Yet those who hate them are unable to assign any reason for their hatred. To sum up all in one word, what the soul is in the body, Christians are in the world. Later in the letter, the writer says that Christ has led us to trust in his kindness, to esteem him, our nourisher, father, teacher, counselor, healer, wisdom, light, honor, glory, power, and life, so that we should not be anxious concerning clothing and food. This definition of what a Christian is in AD 130 should still be the definition of what a Christian is in the 21st century. We have accompanied this letter with a simple jasmine tea given to us by a friend of ours, Marie from Romania, and it's a floral kind of green tea. It's very pleasant. I find that it's a nice tea to drink when you're reading a book. I don't know why, just seems that way.